Judas Priest with Redeemer of Souls. Alright, so this is one of the biggest albums of this year. I don't even have to say that. I mean, this band needs no introduction, and words don't really have to be said about this band because we all know them, we all love them, and this is their first album to have come out in 6 years, so obviously it's been a long time waiting. So let's get right to it. First off, I should say that the album artwork is actually really cool. It's actually quite colorful, and the figure looks really cool. I mean, it's not like the best album artwork I've ever seen, but it's actually really cool looking. I think it looks very unique, so to speak. I like the variety of colors that it uses. When going through this album for the first time, I've noticed the production is actually it's not the best, but I mean, to be honest, I listen to a crappy torrent, so that doesn't exactly help. But I would imagine it might be a little bit better. But in general, a lot of big name like albums that come out within recent years have typically have a very brick walled sort of sound where the guitars are like right in your face, and the mixing isn't really the best either. On some songs, like a Metalizer, for example, like the drums sound kind of muddled. I don't know. I think the mixing is a bit clunky, and the mastering is. I'll have to be honest. I think it's shit. But I mean, I can't really blame the band for this. It's kind of been a phenomenon for the past 5, 7 years or so. Like, think of albums like Metallica's Death Magnetic. And I'll have to be honest, I think the new Queensryche album with Todd La Torre had worse mastering than this. But for what it is, I mean, the production isn't like the main focus. I mean, it plays a part in the score of the album overall, but I mean, the real big main issue, like the main point about this album is how good the music is, and we'll see how that is in a sec. So listening to the lyrics are, pretty standard Priest, nothing cringeworthy, but nothing mind-blowing or anything like that, but still nothing, like, really bad, standard Priest doing what they do. It's great. Don't mind the lyrics at all. Musicianship, again, standard Priest. It's very solid as usual. You cannot knock these legends for their musicianship. Rob doesn't have as many, like, money notes, so to speak, as on previous works, but I mean, at his age, he's like 63 or something like that. He's gonna be 63 in August, so that's understandable. I mean, I maybe 20. He's like 10 years older than my dad, but I mean, you can't really fault him for that, and it's part of aging. But he does the best he can do with his current abilities. Sometimes it can sound a bit forced, but he does the best he can do, and that's all I care about. Is just him doing his best. He definitely puts in a great effort, and he's awesome. He's a legend. He's put out so many great vocal performances in the past. I can't knock him for sounding this way this late into his career. And his regular singing, just like when he's not doing like the really high notes and stuff like that, is actually solid, badass Rob Halford, just the way we love. So I can't really knock him for sounding the way he does on this album. So for a few highlights, Sword of Damocles is actually a pretty unique song. Rob displays, I think, a bit more gusto than he does on a lot of the other songs, and I think it's probably the most explorative, should I say, out of all the songs on here. It has an interesting sort of folky rhythm, but still in the trademark Priest style. March of the Damned has a nice beat to it. I mean, even though it starts to drag a bit by this point, like by the time I get to this song, it's still a pretty decent song in its own right. But by far the best song on this album is the last one, Beginning of the End, which is actually a really heartfelt ballad. It seems like a really honest reflection of the band's mindset and where they are at this point in their career, and it's by far Rob's best performance on this album. You could tell it sounds very heartfelt and genuine, and it's got some very nice melodies, and it's just, it's a very, very cool song. I really, really like this one. Like I said, it's by far the best one on this album. If they had to end the album on a certain note, this was the note that I would have preferred, and I'm glad that they delivered in that regard. Other than that, though, like, aside from a few moments here and there in other songs, like Halls of Valhalla, for example, I think there's some good moments in that one. I feel this album's actually kind of underwhelming overall. I don't know, I would have appreciated just a bit more diversity in these songs because they tend to sound a bit samey after a while, especially after March of the Damned or whatever. I don't know, it's kind of blurs a bit after a while. But I mean, for what they're able to do at this point in their career, I think they put in a solid effort. I think they're doing the best they can at this stage in their career, given how old they are and stuff like that. So I admire their endurance and I admire their audacity to just keep going and release new material to people that will love it. So I can't really fault them for that. So I'm just going to say this is nowhere near albums like Screaming for Vengeance, Painkiller, or Sad Wings of Destiny, and I honestly think they should have stopped with Nostradamus because I really admired that album's sense of theatricality and ambition. But I really like the fact that they're still trying, like, even at this stage in their career when it just gets harder and harder to perform music, like the older you get, they're still putting in the effort, which I can definitely respect. Overall, I give this about a 6.5 out of 10, so sorry if that score sounds kind of low, but that's just how I feel about it personally. You guys may love it, may even hate it. I just think it's kind of average with a few standouts here and there. I don't think I'll be returning to this album like all too frequently or anything like that. Maybe just a few songs here and there. But again, I respect the fact that they're just putting out trademark Priest music once again for the first time in 6 years. Other people, I think, if you really like the more the rockin', like straightforward Priest sound, then you should definitely find a few songs here and there that you might like. Hell, you might like even like the most, if not all, of the album. But I don't know. This is just how I feel. So take it for what it's worth. And yeah, thank you very much. I'll see ya.